Good morning, everybody who's watching. Anyways, November the 5, 6, 7. I know that because I know when my parents' anniversary was. First Monday, and as you can see, it's a little bit wintry all of a sudden. We got, I would say fairly lucky over the weekend, but over the weekend we had that Alberta Clipper roll in. Saturday we got rain. Yesterday was nothing but wind. Last night we had a little smattering of snow, but just a little. And they were initially calling for like 4 to 6 inches of snow today, 80% chance of that. Now they're only calling for 1 to 3. Actually no, it was 1 to 3 centimeters. You can see through the yard there is accumulation in spots, but overall most of the fields are open. We're still good, and the reason that's important is that we're gonna go floating today. Finally got the new conveyor out. Hopefully it does the trick. Still unsure if I need a spout for it or not, and if we do, I'm kind of unsure of how I'm gonna affix the spout. I'll probably have to drill some holes through the side and bolt it in. Holy shit, is my hand cold. Not used to this wintry stuff. Anyhow, let's go this way. So we have well, that old grain truck doesn't have anything going for it. She needs some engine work on the old kitty cat, and needs a little bit of clutch work too. We're unsure of what we're going to do with that old thing. Semi's loaded up with fertilizer. Both of the other grain trucks are loaded up. But we're thinking we should be able to keep up with the semi just for the day. To be determined. We've also got that bin. The south bin is about 2/3 full. I think that thing's rated for 120 ton. This is a pretty light blend, so I would say, I think I did math. I can't remember if it was 104 or 100. It must have been 104. Is about what I figured that bin should hold of this blend. Anyhow, we've got about 60 ton in there, so it's, we'll say 2/3 full ish. Floater guy, he just showed up. Unfortunately, he's been, well, we were trying to get floating there we were hoping for last, was it Wednesday? And he had a breakdown. Anyhow, yeah, we're gonna go floating. Same as last year, just different weather. We are actually, I think we're a week behind. Had we got going last week, we still would have been a couple days behind what we did last year. Anyhow, not a big deal. Little more logistically awkward, as we're going to try and do our most remote stuff first, which is actually closer to precision, so that kind of works. But we want to try and get him done over there, so that he can either be up closer to here or up closer to my uncle's farm, where we can plug in the equipment. His floater, I don't even know what he's got for a floater, to be honest, and the semi or the grain trucks are gonna need plugged in. My semi's got a Webasto. I'm not 100% sure if I plumbed it in there perfectly, but it's starting a lot better this year now that I cleaned up all the gunk off the points. The battery connections were a bit corroded, so I cleaned that up. It starts real good now. All right, so we have, well, he's finishing the second field. That'll give us about 300 acres done on the day. So far, conveyor's pretty good. Have something weird happen. It's really different kind of mover than we're used to. So we're still getting used to that. It's still finding its home in. There's some squeaking and some squawking and this, that, the other. I did have to adjust the belt tension right off the get-go because it was slipping. So it was less than proper out of the factory. But the really weird thing, where to put, there we go. There's one, that's the new one. Where's the old one? Then I have, where the hell did it go? Maybe I left it there for Dad to piddle around with. Well, I sure don't see it back here in my, believe it or not, I did clean this up. Anyhow, throttle cable. This thing has the electronic throttle. And yeah, this thing was absolutely seized right up. And even when we did get it free, you couldn't really move it at all. Like, it was taking 10-12 pounds of force. Now we got her fixed. Luckily, I had a spare one just laying around the farm. This was from when I did the remote controls on the 4650. And so I just went and I made a copy of this one. And we're gonna try and put it back in. But I'm not gonna do too much. I'm just gonna get a couple things set up because the floater guy should be here, I would guess, in about 15 minutes. Not exactly ideal floating weather, but we're gonna go as late as we can tonight. Still pretty foul-mooded out here. Still windy. I do think it has gone down a hair. It stopped snowing, and I think it actually warmed up a degree or two. But we got everything out east done, so that's ballpark 700 and just under 50 acres. A lot of moving and screwing around out there. You probably see the lights over yonder. He's just blowing off the bottom of his tank, or bin, whatever you want to call it. I think we're gonna go, we got 400 acres or so along the hills that are, you know, a little more moving and whatnot, and we'll take care of that first thing tomorrow, I think. And then we will get moved onto some wide open stuff. Should be able to really crush some acres out there, as long as we don't have any breakdowns, whether it's here with, you know, the custom floater or conveyor or semi or whatever, or say Precision Ag has a breakdown. If they do, we still have that bin. That one. Got it. I'm at a weird angle. That one, full of not full, but mostly full. Probably 2/3. I think it's just touching the middle sight glass. So anyhow, we have backup plans and contingency plans in place. Pumping off some fuel for the night, and we'll get back at her tomorrow. This is something I really like about this conveyor, is it shoots that product straight down. Nice clean stream, it's not scattered out. And it doesn't run with the engine absolutely pinned. That's another nice thing. So, we're in day 2 of spreading, and I got some feedback on this BCX3 1549 conveyor. So not very often I get a new piece of equipment, we get to use it right away, and I get to do a review. So that's kind of interesting. It hasn't been perfect, I'll say that for sure. A lot of typical brand new equipment issues where, it's got a little this, a little that, not perfect. I'll start with the number one thing is the first time we ran it, and it starts great, is that you run the clutch, or you run the belt, and it squeaks that little bit. So we haven't had a chance to take the covers off and see. I feel like it's just tracking funny. So that was the number one thing. As soon as we fired it up yesterday morning, we're like, oh, that's kind of squeaky. Didn't expect that. The number two thing is that this was not properly tensioned. It tells you exactly where you need to be. It wasn't even really close. Actually, I should have said that was first, because Dad tried to fire it up and it just kept slipping. So that was two. And number three is this torsion tensioner was loose. That belt was flopping around real bad. So we had to deal with all three of those, which are all fairly minor. We haven't really dealt with that tracking one or whatever that is causing that squealing. But it doesn't sound bad enough that we're that worried about it yet. The other thing that we had happen is after the first load, I guess before the second load, we went to fire up the conveyor. Well, we had the engine running, went to fire the clutches, and it would stall out. I couldn't rev it up. And the throttle cable inside, it's actually not on there right now because we took it off and just haywired it wide open. It's seized up, which sucks because it's brand new, but it's a pretty easy fix. I just need to do it, and my hands are cold. It's either have cold numb hands on cold tools, or warm clumsy hands inside gloves. Neither is that great, so we're gonna wait till we have a better opportunity. Runs perfectly fine, just pinned wide open as it is. Now let's talk about what I do and don't like. I love the fact that this is an undermount because, like I said, day one, and we had to go and open it up. Conveyors are notorious for being high maintenance. And I would just rather have it nice and low. Like even standing on something here is kind of not horrible, but to stand on something to work on one up top there, or I guess it would be over there, would be a right pain in the ass. So I love that. I also love that the shields flip out of the way nice and easy. I wish they were quick pins instead of pins with a hairpin or hair clip. Minor. I love the way the spout is. It shoots almost perfectly straight down, nice clean stream. I love that it's an open belt, so it sheds a lot of the dust. God damn, are my hands cold already. Seems to be very good on fuel, and the fuel tank's in an easy access spot. Love the electric start, love the fuel injection. Yeah, every motor's got electric start. I kind of wish the hopper was a little bit lower, but that's minor. I wish this light was lower. I'll probably cut that down to about 2 inches. Super minor. I didn't even notice it had that light underneath. Hey, it's still got pre-mask on it. There. Which kind of sucked because last night I was looking under and I went and flipped the lights on and I got blasted. I kind of wish that light was there. And it may happen. It may get added on there somehow. We'll see. Or just in general closer to the motor. Super minor. The one on the spout works good. What do I like? Well, I've talked about most of the stuff I like. I love this mover. It takes a little bit of getting used to. The one thing that we struggle with, or I find we're struggling to get used to, is that when you lift up and you've got all the weight, if you're not paying attention, the weight comes off of that guy, and we're on a slight downhill right here, it'll want to roll. So we had to throw the semi-chocks up. Another thing I thought was weird is this got really, really long wheel studs. Minor, like, don't even really care about it, but it's just something that catches your eye. Kind of funny. Otherwise, so far, I quite like it. I wish the winch was a little faster. It's kind of slow going up and down, even at full throttle. Yeah. We'll see what kind of clean out we're going to have to, once we're done floating here, we're going to take it in to the car wash and pressure wash it off. Hopefully let her dry out. And yeah, take good care of it for a little bit. And, you know, feel free to like and subscribe. I really appreciate that kind of stuff. Send me a comment if you have any questions or concerns, or just want to reach out and say hi. I try my best to get to all of them. So, yeah, thanks again for watching.